Kiru, Zala, and Nimo were inseparable. They were no taller than a foot, each with 6 delicate fingers and big, curious eyes that reflected the alien sky. But out of everything in their colorful world, the thing they loved most was pomegranates. The cubs raced through the whispering woods, laughter ringing like chimes as they dodged luminescent roots and hopped over glowing streams. Today was the day they had heard about a hidden grove near the sunlit cliffs, a place where the juiciest pomegranates grew. "Last one, there is a star bug," Kiru shouted, his legs moving faster than his own excitement. Zala tumbled over a root and bounced back up, giggling. Nimo, the tiniest of the 3, zipped ahead like a streak of red light. Soon, they tumbled into a clearing, and their eyes widened. Pomegranate trees stretched taller than any they had ever seen, their branches heavy with ruby-red fruit that pulsed faintly, almost as if it were alive. "Wow. Look at these," Zala whispered, tiptoeing toward a low-hanging branch. The cubs scrambled up the trees, their claws sinking into bark that felt warm to the touch. They each plucked a pomegranate, the juice bursting onto their paws. They laughed as it dripped down, sticky and sweet. "These are the best yet," Nimo squeaked, holding one up to the sunlight. He spun it in his hands, watching the tiny seeds glow faintly inside. Kiru reached for the highest branch and froze. Above him, a cluster of pomegranates glimmered more brightly than the rest, almost humming with energy. "Do you see that?" he asked. Zala's eyes sparkled. "There. Glowing. Let's get 'em." The cubs scrambled higher, balancing carefully. The pomegranates seemed to respond to their tiny hands, floating a little toward them as if they were alive. With a gentle touch, the fruit settled into their paws. Nimo clutched his treasure proudly. "What if they explode like the ones by the misty lake?" Zala asked nervously. "Pomegranates on Zynara sometimes burst if mishandled." Kiru shook his head. "I think they like us. Look, they're floating." He pointed to a seed that twirled like a tiny star above his palm. The cubs watched, amazed, as more seeds began to float and dance around them. Nimo, being the most adventurous, leaned closer, and the seeds swirled around his head, forming a tiny glowing crown. "I feel happy," he exclaimed. Zala laughed, brushing seeds from her fur. "It's like they're thanking us." They spent the day exploring the grove, tasting pomegranates, and discovering tiny saplings sprouting wherever a seed had fallen. Kiru carefully planted one, nudging it into the soil. In an instant, a tiny pomegranate tree glowed softly as if bowing to him. "Look." It grew. The cubs realized that the grove was more than just fruit. It was alive, and it responded to their care. Nimo dug into the soil with his claws, planting seeds everywhere. "We're making a forest," he squealed. As the sun dipped low, the cubs lay in a circle beneath the glowing trees, their bellies full of pomegranate juice. The seeds hovered gently above them, pulsing with light. "These are the best pomegranates in the galaxy," Kiru said, yawning. Zala nodded. "And the glow, it's like the forest is smiling at us." Nimo, still clutching a glowing seed, added, "I think we can make it even bigger tomorrow." More trees, more fruit, more glowing seeds. The cubs spent days in the grove, racing between trees, jumping over sparkling streams, and laughing as seeds floated around them. They discovered which seeds grew fastest when planted near rocks, which ones hummed when touched, and which ones glowed brightest under the twin moons. One day, they decided to build a little fort among the trees, using branches and glowing vines. It became their secret hideout, a place where they could nap, play, and protect their pomegranates from any curious creatures that wandered too close. "Do you think the stars can see us?" Nima asked one evening, gazing at the twin moons. Kiru grinned. "Maybe. And maybe they're proud of us for taking care of the forest." Zala poked at a glowing seed that floated nearby. "I think it likes us. I want to be a guardian of the pomegranates forever." The cubs nodded in agreement. Every day brought new adventures. Sliding down sparkling hills, racing through tall grass that tickled their fur, and discovering secret nooks where the sweetest pomegranates hid. They learned something amazing: small paws and small bodies could do big things. They could grow forests, protect fruit, and make the grove glow with life. Even without adults around, the cubs understood that their kindness and curiosity mattered. Seasons changed, but the cubs remained in the grove, and it flourished. New saplings grew taller, glowing more brightly than before. The floating seeds danced above their heads, like tiny stars that followed them wherever they went. And every evening, after a long day of adventures, Kiru, Zala, and Nimo would sit together, sticky with pomegranate juice, watching the forest shimmer. They had discovered something extraordinary: joy, friendship, and wonder could bloom from the smallest hands in the universe. One night, as they drifted off to sleep beneath the glowing canopy, Nimo whispered, "Tomorrow, we'll find even more pomegranates." Kiru yawned. "And maybe more magic seeds too." Zala curled her tiny limbs around a glowing fruit. "I'm glad we're cubs, small, but full of adventures." The forest seemed to hum in agreement, wrapping the cubs in a soft, gentle glow. On Zynara, it didn't matter that they were small. The cubs were explorers, guardians, and discoverers, and their love for pomegranates had turned a simple fruit into a universe of wonder. And in that quiet, magical grove, the three little alien cubs dreamed of all the adventures still waiting, knowing that even the tiniest beings could leave the biggest mark.